Hi folks, I'm here to talk about the intensity that's experienced often in twin flame, twin soul connection. Some people even call it soulmates. It's a little bit different, but same kind of thing. So I'm going to talk about the runner principle, where the intensity is so much that one runs away, and it seems to be happening quite a lot. So watch my video to find out all about that. So the runner principle is really quite common in a twin flame connection. So if you've met somebody and the intensity of the connection is really extreme, not fear, just energy. If it's fear, run, get out of there. But no, if it's energy, quite often one person will run because it overwhelms them, and it's almost like a feeling like they're afraid to, like they'll cease to exist. They feel so overwhelmed by this energy. And it's really important for the person who is not running to understand that whole phenomenon, because it happens all the time. I'm hearing more and more of it because we're heading into a time where more and more of those connections reconnect in this lifetime and meet each other, and then things can go a little bit crazy for a while before they settle down. So don't panic. There are ways to deal with these things. Now the person, who's running feels almost like they're not going to survive if they stay. It's like survival instincts kick in, and the energy is so big that the only thing they can think of doing is to get the heck away from it so that they can feel normal again, which is really, really confusing for the other person who's not the runner, who's sitting there going, what the hell just happened here? What's going on? Why did that happen? It doesn't always make a great deal of sense, and it's not necessarily for a normally observed reason. So that's where communication kicks in, which is really important in any relationship, and feeling comfortable with saying how you feel. If the other person's going to make fun of your feelings, then it's not a twin flame, it's a narcissist, which is also intense but quite different. So you need to be allowed to express your feelings, your fears, and be heard and feel safe with that. So if the runner runs, which they often do, however far and for however long, it depends very much on that, then they stop and they go, hang on a minute, this doesn't feel right either. There's a relief, there's a sense of, phew, that intensity is gone, I can relax now. But there's also this hollow feeling of missing the other person. It's not 100% great, it's easier, but it's not 100% wonderful either. So they still feel the lack of the other person in their life, but they don't know what to do. So this is actually, I'm looking at it more from the runner's perspective. I'll look at the other person's perspective more deeply in a future video. So the runner's away now and going, goodness me, okay, I can relax now, I can recover now, but I can recover myself and my sense of self. So that's what they're going through. But they still don't feel 100% happy. And if the other person is your twin soul, your twin flame, they'll be kind of trying to get on with life as well. Both of them will want to get on with their life. Rationally, they're thinking, okay, that didn't work. I need to move on, and they try that. They might try other people, but it doesn't just quite feel right. So there's obviously still unresolved stuff there. Twin souls don't always spend their entire lifetime together, but they do come together to resolve things with each other and also for their own healing. Like your twin's going to reflect back to you like a mirror that whatever's still unhealed in you, whether it's feeling safe, feeling loved, self-worth, all of those things are going to pop up in your face when you connect with that person. So it can be very, very powerful. For the runner, there's a wanting to reconnect, but there's also a huge amount of fear because they don't know how to handle all that energy. So they most likely kind of stay away. But the universe has some interesting tricks and sometimes gets in the way and helps people reconnect. Sometimes it doesn't. But most twins do end up reconnecting somehow, somewhere, at some point in time. If and when that happens, and it doesn't always, but quite often it does, it's so important that the non-runner, the person who was run away from, takes it slowly. I meet so many people online, customers, clients, they've connected with this intensity, and it's a very, very powerful connection, and they want to push. They want it all to happen right now. And that's about the worst thing that person can do, is to push that, because it'll just overwhelm the other person again and they won't know what to do and will run off again. So patience is just have some trust. This isn't happening because it's not meant to happen. This connection's happening because it's meant to be there for however long or for whatever you're here to do together. So yeah, no, it takes a lot of time. The runner needs to learn to say when they're feeling overwhelmed and try and look at some easier ways to deal with that, because it's really, really hard when your feelings are overwhelmed to think rationally. So that needs to be worked out beforehand so that there's some tools that you can pull out of the bag when that happens to you. And the biggest one is actually just saying, hey, I just feel overwhelmed right now, I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go home for a while, or whatever. And just, but let the other person know you're coming back. That helps. So that's really important. And the biggest and most important thing for the one who was run away from, the non-runner, is to try and be patient. If it's worth having, it's worth waiting for. You don't need to force it, you don't need to push it, because if you do that, you're going to get more running. You're going to end up with a overwhelmed sensitive person who doesn't know what to do and will run off. So it's about being present for each other, holding presence for each other. That's something a lot of people don't know how to do, and it's basically just being there, not trying to fix the other person's feelings or problems or issues. That's not necessary. It's just letting them explore and grow and live, and being able to be present with that, knowing that it's not your job to fix that, it's not your job to make it all better, it's your job just to be there. That's it. It's actually pretty simple, but not always easy to do, especially when there are uncomfortable feelings there. So if you can work it out, and most people eventually get there, together you can achieve a heck of a lot more than you ever will apart. You can grow more, you can become much more whole. Once you start reflecting the positives to each other, the love and the self-love, it'll develop and grow your self-love. It'll heal things inside of you that might have been broken a little bit for lifetimes, through experiences. And that is majorly achieved just through being present for your twin soul, your partner, and letting them grow. And that means trusting them to do that too, in their own way. You can't control how they grow. So don't try that, because you'll end up with big explosions, because that connection is intense. There's a lot of energy there, and it can be extremely good, but if it goes off the rails, it can be extremely bad. So it's really important to learn to take a step back, let things settle, and then be really open about how you're feeling. I feel. That's what it needs to start with, not you did. That won't work. Finger pointing will just create chaos. So you're dealing with a really intense energy if you're doing this, if you've connected with your twin soul. Sometimes they're not your partner. I've met couples, I've met two people once who were actually twins. they were born as twins and they were also twin souls. So, you know, they were going to have a lifelong connection anyway. I've also met a brother and sister who were twin souls, and also a mother and son. That doesn't mean they're going to have a romantic relationship together, but they've come here in those roles to work out whatever dynamic or growth they needed to, and have organised that to do that. So if you haven't met your twin flame, don't panic. There's still plenty of time, and sometimes we're actually not here on the planet at the same time. One's incarnated and the other one's not. You know, it can happen, but eventually everybody meets, so that will take place. But please be aware that an intense connection with a very unhealthy person like a narcissist or a psychopath can feel very intense too, but there is a lot more unhealthy patterns there. So just be aware that you don't think that your relationship that you have with somebody who's actually cruel to you and punishes you or whatever is that's not a twin flame. Yes, it's intense, but there's been a false dependence developed in that unhealthy connection. So don't buy into that. If you've got one of those, go and get some help, get some support, and look at what you can do to get yourself out of there. So lots of love, everybody, and all the best on your journey, and I'll see you in my next video.